the best endgame build to ever grace Destiny 2. What you're about to watch is 8 minutes of godly destruction, like Thor himself calling down thunder in 6 different Grandmasters. And just watch what happens. We have become the God of Thunder himself in Destiny 2, and we make these Grandmasters seem like a joke. If you are running a Titan, then there is no reason you should be on any other build but this one, because the destructive power is just too great to pass up, and all 3 of us fireteam members ran this exact same setup for all 6 Grandmasters, which means you all can do it too, because even Rowdy over here sucks at GMs. I kid. Well, maybe not. Anyways, moving on from that, for the 4 Grandmasters that were Barrier and Overload champions, we ran the same weapons, and then for the 2 with Unstoppable and Barrier, we just threw on a different weapon for the Unstoppables. We also all 3 ran the same mod setup, which I will go over in a minute here, but technically mods aren't even needed, and there are a few routes you could take with the different mods, like a triple firepower setup, but we didn't even use that because we opted for some extra healing, which you should do as well in these Grandmasters, because it just adds to our survivability, which is needed in Grandmasters for sure. But even without all the correct mods, this build and the power that it provides puts it on another level in its own and simply crushes hunters, sorry hunters, and even takes the top spot above warlocks for me in Grandmasters. Even on the boss room on Exodus Crash, where people would bring well warlocks or titans with Ursas, our jolting abilities were strong enough to handle it all. And I have been a warlock main since Destiny 1, and it pains me to say this, but Titans, you are now the gods of Destiny 2 and Grandmasters with this build. You can have the crown. I won't even argue it anymore. This build will make easy work for you and make farming that sweet double loot this week on all the different Grandmasters a breeze. If you would like to become a member of the channel, then click the link in the pinned comment and you will get access to the members only Discord and also the full one-stop shop to all my builds and can filter them based on what you're looking for. Thank you so much to everyone that has become members. I really appreciate it. So make sure you're using Thunder Crash because it's way better than Fist of Havoc, and you will just get killed out of your Havoc super in GMs. Plus, against champions, Thunder Crash just adds that extra punch while your grenades are on them, jolting them. For your class ability, make sure to have on Thruster. It plays into the overall build really nicely and also adds some great movement to dodging incoming damage, like the Void Burst that those chickens in the Glassway boss room fire at you. It was nice being able to thrust around a corner when needed. For your melee, I would go with the new Thunderclap one. It is a ranged one and it just helps out, and when you do charge it up, it can put out some nice damage. And if it happens to kill someone, you will start healing off of it, so that's one way we can avoid death. Any red bar thrall or dregs or anything like that and you need some health, charge it up, hit them, kill them, get that health. The grenade of choice is storm grenades. This roaming tracking cloud of thunder is very strong with our aspect and makes this by far the best grenade of choice. If you are struggling with ability regen for whatever reason, the pulse grenade is a great option as it creates traces, but it does less damage overall and doesn't move to enemies like the storm grenade does. Touch of Thunder is our first aspect, and storm grenade here, after detonating, creates a roaming thunder cloud that tracks nearby targets and fires bolts of lightning at foes beneath it. This turns Touch of Thunder into an absolute beast and allows it to track enemies, which is so nice. Our second aspect is Knockout, and the main part we're taking this for is because defeating targets with melee attacks starts health regeneration and makes you amplified. So it's an easy way to get amplified, and it's an easy way to add extra healing to the build because Arc does suffer from not having too much healing. So this is our first healing source, and then we'll add a second healing source with the mods. We have Spark of Resistance for a 25% damage reduction. You want to be running 100 resilience with this build for sure, and then get your discipline up next. But make sure you have that resilience, and with Spark of Resistance, we're already pretty tanky, so we'll add a few mods to beef that up even further. Next we have Spark of Shock, so our storm grenades jolt targets. Jolt is probably the strongest debuff in the game now because it is so easily applied and allows you to focus on a champion that is jolted, and by doing damage to that champion, it then spreads that jolt debuff, that shocking lightning, and will kill literally everything around it. For our third fragment, you want Spark of Ions. This one can be traded out if you want, but it just allows us to make some ionic traces for more ability regen. And then lastly, we have Spark of Magnitude. This makes our storm grenades last way longer and just adds a ton of value because that means more damage and more jolting, and we definitely love it when everything is jolted. For the mods on the build, starting with the helmet, we have Elemental Ordnance, so when we throw our grenade and it kills something, we're gonna spawn it arc well. And then I also had double Ashes to Assets on to get that super back as fast as possible. On the gauntlets, we had Explosive Well Maker, so every double kill that happens with our storm grenade, we're gonna make a solar well. We also had Anti-Barrier Scout and Overload Machine Gun to deal with the champions. For our chest piece, I went with Bountiful Wells, so we doubled up the wells that we're generating, and then also make sure to throw on Thermoclastic Plating for that extra damage resistance on your chest. For the boots, I went with Well of Life, so that Explosive Well Maker, when it makes a solar well, that's gonna proc Well of Life for us for extra healing, and remember, the other healing you're getting is from your melee kills. And then in our class item, we went with Elemental Ordnance again, so every time that we throw our grenade grenade and we kill something, we're gonna spawn 3 arc wells because of bountiful wells and 2 solar wells because of explosive well maker, and also proc healing for well of life. And then on top of that, all those wells are just feeding our ability regen. Also in the class item, we had double bomber on, so every time that we use that thruster dodge, we're gonna get a chunk of our grenade back instantly. And then on the class item, make sure you also throw on surge detonators so your storm grenades can stun overload champions. It's not necessarily needed because we do have the overload machine gun to stun champions, but it just adds to the build. And then the exotic you want to be running is Heart of Inmost Light. So when we use any ability, it empowers the other 2 abilities. So it makes those abilities recharge much quicker, and it also makes our melee and our grenade hit a lot harder. When you have a ×2 empowered going on that grenade, it's going to do a ton of damage to enemies, and that's what makes the storm grenade so strong with the different aspects and fragments that we're using. It also helps us just regen it and get it back very quickly. And when you have 3 tie-ins like you see in this Grandmaster running around doing this, like nothing stands a chance to these storm grenades. So even though this build may lack a little bit on healing, you can still heal with the melee, right? And you can still heal with Well of Life. The overall damage output and power that it provides is just too good to pass up. I wish I could have made this video like 2 hours long and watched us clear every single Grandmaster this way, but I hope the clips show enough how strong it is. We cleared 2 of the Grandmasters in literally like 11 minutes, and then the other 4 Grandmasters were all under 20 minutes. Even Glassway we cleared in like 19 minutes, and that one had Void Burn on it. Remember, the other 5 Grandmasters in the rotation all have Arc Burn, so we're doing 25% increased damage with this Arc build. So needless to say, it is very, very strong. Another mod option you could do is run triple firepower, so run 3 of them, and then elemental charge, so when you pick up a well, you become charged with light, and also elemental ordnance to spawn that well. So you pick up that well, you get charged light ×2, you throw your grenade, and you'll get half of it back instantly. If you go that route, that's even faster ability regen and probably even stronger, but you just lose out on a little bit of healing, because there were some times where Well of Life kicked in, and I survived things that I shouldn't have survived because I had continuous healing. Same thing with my clanmate Rob. He said he tried it both ways and definitely liked Well of Life more. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you guys all in the next one. If you have not checked out the website, go check it out. If you haven't checked out the YouTube member section, make sure to do that as well. And thank you guys so much for watching and all the support on the channel. It means the world to me. I'm glad that I can make builds for y'all and you guys enjoy them as much as you do. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.